Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Amina Hamdule, MBBS and MS General Surgery graduate, and I'm here on this platform to talk to future medical aspirants who are interested into medicine, to learn about surgery and a few study tips and some real surgical talk, how to improve your health a lot for better. So, something about me, I'm from the batch of 2015 MBBS and I entered my surgical residency in 2021, 2022 because of COVID. And I've completed in 2025 and here I go. I was initially very much into taking orthopedics as a branch. However, my internship experience allowed me to choose surgery. So, this is my experience of how I chose surgery. Now, when I was an intern, my first posting was surgery, which is why it is very special. However, I was exposed to almost everything during internship, and my interest changed directly towards surgery. Uh, these are the few things what made me choose. Number one, when I was posted as an intern in surgery, I felt that a surgeon knows a lot of stuff related to medicine, surgery, orthopedics, everything. So I felt like the king of this world or the queen. So, one. Second, I learned a new form of art and I love doing it. So it was be it suturing or do assisting in hernias or some surgeries. I really loved it. And let me tell you a disclaimer: you need to love the perianal stuff, that is everything related to the rectum, anal canal, etc., which I was not having a problem with. Now, third, there's a myth about surgery that it's a lot about just suturing and hernias and ulcers and ontos, adrenaline, emergency. No, there's a lot that goes into diagnosing a patient also. Like sometimes there is TB, which is not coming positive. Sometimes it is a gastrinoma or pancreatitis or mesenteric ischemia. It's You can't just see and tell it. You have to diagnose. So I learned over time that surgeons don't just cut, they should know when not to cut. So it's very important to understand that surgery is not about it. And we are people who understand a lot of the physiology of a human body, because a patient going through a lot like shock and hemorrhage and everything. So you learn the human physiology more and you understand fluid nutrition as good as any medical branch. So yes, I enjoyed feeling like a king, queen, whatever, and which is why I ended up choosing surgery. And I didn't want to be stuck up to just very limited things in life. So yeah, now let me stop romanticizing surgery or any medical branch for that matter and get to the true points. Disclaimer: no branch brings you easy money. You gotta work every branch in your young years, be it radiology, anesthesia, dermat, surgery, medicine. You have to work your ass off in your young years. The only difference in these branches is the way they work or get that money. Now, I won't talk a lot about the other branches. I'll talk about surgery and bring a few important aspects to why you should choose surgery or why you should not choose surgery. Your choice. Now, before we go ahead, please hit the subscribe button, hit like, hit the bell icon. I am new here and we'll keep talking about a lot of stuff. Now we'll divide this topic of why surgery or why not surgery into these aspects: what type of a branch it is, how's the residency, post residency, and expectations, academics of the subject, like what you need to study and what are the subjects, and you who you should talk to before considering this branch. Now, about the branch, it's not just sutures and ulcers, it's a wide variety of surgery from the head to toe, like your lipomas on the head, rhinoplasties, which comes in plastic surgery, thyroid surgeries, breast, abdomen is your playground, varicose veins, ulcers, and your foot, hernias, everything comes into surgery. Now, a lot of these things are getting niched into specialities. Like there is a hepatobiliary surgeon, there's a hernia specialist, there's a proctologist, oncosurgeon, plastic surgeon, neurosurgery, a lot of stuff. So your question would be, should you consider MS, because after this you have to do MCH or not? Should you consider or not? I will answer in a bit. Now, if you think that surgery is just about cutting, you're really wrong. And surgery is just not anatomy and cutting. The branch incorporates a lot of stuff from your entire MBBS. For example, if you don't understand the physiology of normal human body, if you don't understand the physiology, your life is going to be hell in operating a patient, because everything begins from basic physiology. That is, if you have a patient, from the pre-op anxiety of a patient and stuff, to releasing cortisol hormones and stress, to the intraoperative stress of a patient and the post-operative stress. If you don't understand the basic thing, how to deal with the catabolism of a patient, you cannot deal with it. You need to know why certain things you must do or you must not do, when to stop, when to start. So yeah, surgery is a lot medical as well. Now, other things that come is radiology, pathology. It's a lot of things, but I am not here to scare you that you have to learn everything. You learn in the process, of course. While you learn your residency, when you deal with 3-4 subjects together, it becomes easier to study. But it's not like you can run away from it. So this, and again, what comes is, it's if you don't like just learning about other things, and you can't be to point A and point B. You must understand the other points that are coming around. So if you don't want to play around the path, it's not for you. Now, about residency and post residency, what does residency bring to you? Now, it's not how romantic it looks like, come with me in a life of a surgeon 24 hours and stuff. It's not really the real. It's very tough. Now, it's a 3-year program, of course, everyone knows, and it gets better with time. You can say, as a first year, you're fucked. Second year, third year, it starts getting better. But it's trauma. It's really trauma, because it's a very demanding branch, you see. So it is trauma. But however, if given a choice, would I choose surgery again? Yes, because I love it. And I might choose it again because I plan to do my MCH as well. Now, what does the residency look like? So it's different at different hospitals. Like somewhere there are units, somewhere you're posted into other places. So basically you go through wards, OTs, OPDs, random workups, investigations and stuff, specialty posting, DRP posting. It's just not OPD, ICU and ward for a surgical branch. It's OPD, ICU, ward, references, OTs. Main special thing that gets added is your OTs, which takes a lot of time of your day. So yeah, this is how it is. Now you can be posted into units which work on daily basis, and you get those calls accordingly, or you can get posted into 1 month you're posted into OT, 1 month you're in ICU, 1 month you're in casualty, whatever. So it's varied, but the posting or the work is really demanding. It's very heavy. So for example, I would give you is a call day, a 24-hour call goes sleepless, on foot, foodless, sometimes so you start your day in the morning, you go with OPDs, then you admit patients, you are running with your samples and investigations, admitting OTs. If there is any emergency, you'll operate them. The same time you have to handle your casualties, because it's your call day or your emergency day. so you're running into casualty also, and then after everything is done it gets a little chiller, but no, you have a lot of work to do, so you continue all over the night, and the next day you have your rounds, or sometimes it's so heavy that the entire night keeps on going continuously till you finish your rounds, and it's the next day and you have more work. So till the patient gets discharged, you're working, and by the next your call day is here. Some hospitals even have alternate calls, so it's basically very scary. But however, depending on the number of residents, you can manage work. But I have faced most of my time honestly sleepless and foodless. uh, it's very difficult, and so I had a spine injury just before joining residency. So I used to wear an LS belt, a lumbosacral belt. I had PIVD, and without knowing me or anything, without knowing my work, somebody actually judged me and said, "Oh, you should have just taken dermat." I mean, is it because I'm injured or is it because I'm a female? It's You will see it. It's very common to be judged with gender or injury, but you can prove them wrong with your work. And second thing, my batch had like 70% females, so it was a very proud women batch, and all the girls were top notch. Everybody was really hardworking, and everybody just helped each other. Your first year, you're fucked. You have interns. If you have good interns, it's great, and you should also encourage interns so that your work gets better and the interns get exposure. So second thing is when you become a little senior, that is, you've become a second year, you get juniors. Now, this is your crucial time. You cannot fuck this up. Let me tell you. You cannot just go back home and relax and expect your junior to do everything, because if you don't train them, it's not good. If you So your juniors are going to be your eyes when you're not present. So if they cannot learn from your eyes or your tactics or your methods, you will not realize what fuck up it is to a patient, to your rounds in front of your seniors. So train your juniors in the initial few months, make them good, and then you're good to go. And as you advance into your second year, and then you get posted into peripheries and specialties, and you keep doing your specialty work most of the time alone, which is also very hectic. So you get posted into ICU, casualties, pediatric surgery, CVTS, neurosurgery, urology, plastic surgery, everywhere. And I would say it's good to be posted into these peripheries, because you get to understand what your future is like. So whenever you choose your medical college for surgery, consider understanding that these specialities, at least minimum 2 3 specialities you're exposed to, so that yes, I want to choose. So when I entered surgery, I had this whole vision that I am going to be Dr. Cat of future. If you know Dr. Catherine, I was like, I'm going to be a plastic surgeon, and I'm going to make everybody look aesthetic, and I'm going to do labia plasties and whatnot. But when I entered surgery and I was exposed to almost everything, I realized I just love the bowel. I loved the bowel. I loved opening up a patient, or be it laparoscopy, touching the bowel, and I just loved the bowel. So I am very much inclined towards GI at present, and which is why I'm preparing for GI. But being exposed to these things, you would realize. For a moment, I even considered CVTS as a branch, because I was posted in CVTS for 45 days. But I realized it's just not my thing. So don't go into the hurry after MS just to choose something because you're having FOMO, and just because you're getting it or whatever. Choose because you have love for it. So Yeah, this is, we'll come to that later. Anyways, um so you should consider going into a place where you get these exposures. So find out from your medical colleges if you still like surgery to go to about these exposures. You approach third year, so now you're a third year, and you have to really study your ass off to crack those exams. It's not very easy.
So your 3 years just go studying, working, studying.
Now, prospects post MS, you either clear NEET SS and take your desirable branch, or you study again. Just settle as a general surgeon. So, this depends on factors like where do you want to practice, area of practice, or your personal choice. Now, I'll keep a few things in front of you to understand. Number one, India is like always evolving and developing. Our senior surgeons had their way out. They used to do burr holes and prostates, everything being a general surgeon. And however, the advances and the medico legal aspects have now become top notch and very intricate. So things are moving towards specialities, and it should not be like you're a general surgeon, why did you do a mastectomy or breast surgery, or a colectomy or a right hemicolectomy or whatever, and this could happen in like 20 years. Second is, because India is a developing country, what I feel is, in this diverse economy of low socioeconomic to very high socioeconomic people who reside, the costly specializations and treatments would not be accessible to a lot of people. So it's not accessible to the poor, and so everything is not going to be generalized like it is in the UK, that there are screening programs and everything is just very economical for everyone. So it's not going to be that uh, in any time soon. And uh, a common man would not come in India and say that I have a thyroid swelling, so I will go to an endocrine surgeon to get robotic thyroidectomy or whatever. There'll still be a vast population who is going to choose a general surgeon for their basic treatments, which a general surgeon is very specialized enough to do, right? So a general surgeon will continue to operate on the normal population for a very long time, and it's not going to go out of hand. Now, looking at job prospects, a super specialist is always going to get chosen into a very big institute or a corporate hospital, and general surgeons will still be practicing into small middle hospitals where it's on. Or or you can always learn finance, save up a lot, and make your own hospital. If you're scared to study after MS, like, how long to study, how much, I'm tired, you still have a lot of fellowship options. And let me tell you, academics or studying is never over in this field, in a medical field. Like,
It's not like 12 तक पढ़ लो हो जाएगा उसके बाद कुछ टेंशन नहीं है
etc. You chose this. You are brought here by your own choice. Now you have to study. So when I sit in libraries or something to study, I see really old faculties who still come to read. So, it's never ending. You keep yourself updated by reading. Academics. So basically, what comes in this subject? Now you study 40% similar to what you've studied in MBBS, because you study a lot of breast, thyroid, colon, this, that. So you study a lot which is similar to what you studied, but the anatomy, physiology, pathology, micro, yes, pharmac, surgery, somewhat medicine, PSM, like global healthcare, basics, and everything. You go into depths of CVTS, so cardiac cycles, cardiac embryology, and plastics and pediatric. You understand you understand again the embryology, formation of guard, this, that, also in pediatric surgery. Then you understand neuro, you understand the brain and everything. and it's not just CA, stomach, breast, and thyroid what you studied in MBBS. It's a lot. So, apart from that, rest of this has all of what I said, and it's fine. I mean, if you just keep understanding better, because when you were in MBBS, your understanding might be like a little smaller, like a kid. Now, I feel what I studied in MBBS, of course, it helps. It's there in my memory, but I am understanding the concepts which I studied previously much better, because my brain has grown or understood, or I don't know what, but it's fine. Now, coming to who should you talk to before joining residency. This comes to any branch, whatever you want to choose. So, before I took up the branch, I spoke to three people, and this was my father's advice to me, because I wanted to take orthopedics, which is an end branch. Now I have decided to take up surgery, and he's like, right? You have to do MCH. And I was like, yeah, but it's not an easy journey. I will tell you 1,000 times. I am studying since 2015. It's 2025, and I'm still studying. I study every day to prepare for my MCH, and it's a lot, honestly. A resident of general surgery who will tell you the current scenario about how the hospital is, what is the toxicity level, etc. Because when I joined residency, I thought, because I had my internship residents, they were quite nice. But when I joined surgical residency, it was fucking toxic. Like, I had really good seniors, honestly. I really, really admire a few of my seniors, chef's kiss, but some really toxic. So you must talk to a general surgery resident who will tell you the current scenario, whether how bad it's going to be or how nice it is. Where I was in my residency, that is DY Patil, Navi Mumbai, I didn't talk honestly to any residents, but I was prepared for the war, like to work. But honestly, I thought it would be easy, but it was really tough. And there were some seniors who were very toxic, who were like, don't eat food, don't do this, don't do that. And honestly, they never let me even shower or sleep or breathe or eat for days, like five days. So a resident right now, the scene here, it's quite chill. The residency has become very non-toxic. It's become very nice and sweet and very friendly. So, one. Two is a pass out who is into 1 to 2 years of practice. Like, who would tell you how earnings are, work is, who's practicing general surgery, and somebody, or maybe somebody who's just entered MCH. Um, Three is a senior with 10 to 15 years of experience after MS, who tell you their journey, mistakes, and how they build up in their career. Somebody like an HOD or something in a good hospital, or a private practitioner, you can speak to anyone. So this is how it is now. Whoever tells you that there is no life, no money, you'll do nothing in life after surgery, don't listen to them. So it's like, if you're really wanting to work and earn, and you just want to build your wealth, you will work in your initial few years, and you'll not choose to be free. But you can choose to be free as well. So when you're striving and you're not satisfied with the money that you're getting, you'll work more. So you'll take up emergencies or calls or whatever on a Sunday also, and whatever. Now, if you are satisfied to start with a salary of 1 lakh, which I suppose almost everywhere for a senior resident right now is 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh, you will be, if you're satisfied with starting with just that, you're fine. You will have your home life or house life, or family life or whatever, and vacations or whatever you want to take. But if you're someone who wants to put in a little more earning, maybe of 50,000 or something, you can still work outside. You can go to private hospitals and still earn that money. So how it's not tough, like you'll not at all get anything, but I'll tell you how it's done. Work will not come walking to you. You have to put in the work to go outside, right? You have to go walking to hospitals and giving your CVs and etc. So you join a medical college which will give you a constant pay. Of course, if it's a heavy hospital where you're not getting time at all, you're gaining skills, so don't feel bad about it. In 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you will be really good to go for a private practice. However, if your hospital is like chill, you can get 2-3 days out to work, you can still consider joining, giving your CVs to private hospitals, or join your seniors, join your bosses. They are the ones to teach you. Now you have a degree. They would love to have someone who would take up their work. So, how the cycle is, somebody who passes out and somebody who's already been, like 4-5 years into this, wants to step ahead out and go to a bigger hospital or a bigger place. Some people go out for fellowships. So what they do is, somebody who's been working with them for some time, or learned from them, they give their recommendations to the hospitals. They'll give your name. So for example, if my boss has gone to Korea or Japan or something for a year or whatever, so somebody to work in place for them, or they'll just give recommendations. This is my person who he's learned from me, I can vouch for him or whatever, him or her. And that's how you get into that hospital. So you have to get out, you can't sit there and get it. So you can get work that way. Second, so it keeps growing. A very old person will retire, a middle person will go ahead, and somebody will come in their place, and you will go in the other place. So it's a cycle which keeps going. Anybody who says surgeons are minting money, or they earn more by working less or whatever, uh, and it's very difficult in medicine to earn money, but surgery just gets money and all, don't listen to them. Tell them branch to get money has to do the same thing in different ways. So for example, if I am doing like 5 to 10 OPDs and charging like 500,000 or whatever, and at the same time a medicine is earning is doing like 50-70 OPDs, provided she has to run around for 50-70 OPDs, like give a lot of time. So if this is the ratio, but I will earn from the OTs that I do. And for the OTs, I have to minimum give 1.5 hour, maximum 3 hours, and that's where I'll get the minimum 10,000, 20,000, or whatever amount. In the start, it's quite low, 5, 7, 10,000 for an OT, depending on a setup. So it starts that way. And but getting those OTs is also not easy. It is as difficult as getting 50 to 70 OPDs. So everybody has to strive in the start. You just don't get it. So it's just the difference that somebody in an OT is standing and working for 3 hours and getting that 10,000, and somebody in an OPD is doing a 2-3 hour OPD to get that 10,000 by seeing so many patients. That's difference. And the difference is just a little with the meal times, that a medicine can still get up and go to a side room and have a cup of tea, or have like a meal, but a surgeon does not get that appropriate time to eat, you can say, but people still manage. So I hope I've given you a lot of clarity about how surgery as a branch is, and this about this field. And I hope this should help in giving you clarity and not very delulu of how the branch is, and it helps you decide whether you want surgery or not. So, not to make it look very aesthetic and blah blah, I would want to say, I don't want to scare you with traumas of residency which I have faced or anybody else has faced. choose this only if you want to explore various aspects of medicine and surgery together, because surgery is just not cutting. It is a lot with medicine, patho, radio, micro, physio, and a lot. Now, if you love to see yourself in the OT, you can bear those standing hours and you can put in that work. If you love, you have that passion, is if you can choose surgery. It could be general surgery or any other surgery. Um, it does not matter to whether there are emergencies, adrenaline, or elective. It's your choice in the future. It's just about the residency where it's everything. In future, you can always choose how you want your life to be, and passion brings big projects together, and so your love for surgery will. More discussions about residency, what to do, how to survive your residency, how to study for MS and your practicals, um, more surgeries, getting jobs, improving skills for that matter. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, share, whatever, and comment if you have any queries. Visit my Instagram, Tools.